Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to sift through the noise and bring you the core insights on key topics. Think of this as your shortcut to getting up to speed. Today, we're tackling something you hear a lot about in AI, fine-tuning models. And, when you first hear about training AI, a pretty basic question comes up, at least it did for me. If you need a model for something really specific, why not just, build it from scratch? Start fresh.
That's a great question. It really is. And it gets right to the heart of why fine-tuning is so important. The answer is actually, surprisingly down to earth to really get a handle on fine-tuning what it is, where it's used, and what to watch out for. We're going to use an analogy today. Think of it like this. Training an AI model is a lot like raising a cat.
A cat. Okay, I'm listening. Intriguing. So let's unpack this then. What is fine-tuning in AI, and where does the cat come in?
Right. So fine-tuning, at its core, it's really about taking an AI model that's already been trained on a massive amount of general data. It already knows a lot, broadly speaking. And then you make these very specific targeted adjustments, micro-adjustments almost. You do this using a much smaller, very focused data set. The whole point is to make that model really, really good at one particular task, or maybe within a very specific area, a niche domain. It's based on this idea called transfer learning, essentially transferring knowledge.
Okay, so it's not starting from zero. It's like taking a generalist and making it a specialist for one job.
Yeah.
How's that different from just training a specialist model right from the beginning? Because, starting fresh sounds like it might give you exactly what you need.
Yeah. Intuitively, it does sound logical, but that's where the cat analogy really helps, I think. Imagine training from scratch is like getting a tiny kitten, a brand new kitten. You have to teach it absolutely everything. How to walk properly, how to eat, the litter box, how to play, what's dangerous, everything. This takes just vast amounts of data, like tons of different experiences. And it needs huge computational power and, honestly, a lot of time and patience. It's a massive undertaking.
Right. Sounds exhausting. And probably expensive thinking about server costs and all that.
Exactly. Loads of resources. Now, fine-tuning, that's like adopting an adult cat. This cat, it already knows the basics. It can walk, eat, probably play. It knows how to, be a cat. Your job isn't teaching it cat fundamentals. It's just teaching it your house rules.
Ah, okay, like...
Yeah. Like, don't scratch this specific sofa, or you eat at these times, or maybe this loud noise the baby makes. It's okay. It's so much more efficient, time-wise and resource-wise. You're building on what's already there, that existing foundation. You don't need nearly as much data, just targeted stuff, and way less training time. It makes achieving specific goals much, much easier.
Okay, that clicks. The analogy really works there. So the pre-trained model is our adopted cat, already knows the ropes, generally speaking. So what are these house rules we're teaching? What kind of specific data are we talking about for an AI?
Perfect question. So yeah, the pre-trained model is that already raised cat. It has the basics, understanding language, maybe recognizing images, general sort of cognitive abilities learned from its initial broad training. The fine-tuning part, teaching the house rules, that's when we feed it that specific data set, data that reflect your unique environment, your specific needs. For the cat, it's letting your furniture is off limits or that your dog is friendly. For an AI model, this could be things like your company's specific product names and jargon, or transcripts of your actual customer service calls, or maybe very specific medical images if it's for healthcare. So if I ran, say, an online bookstore, my specific data set might be my inventory, customer reviews for books I sell, maybe chat logs about specific genres. Precisely. That's exactly it. This targeted data helps the model tweak its existing knowledge, its parameters, to specialize. It doesn't have to relearn language. It just learns your store's language and context. And here's what's really cool about fine-tuning, I think. It's not just about making the AI better in general. It makes it, almost personal. Imagine an AI that gets the specific way your team talks in meetings, or an industrial AI that spots a tiny defect unique to your manufacturing process. It stops being just a generic tool and becomes tailored specifically for your world. And this accessibility, it means it's not just for the big tech companies anymore. Small businesses, researchers, artists even, they can now shape AI to understand their specific domain. That's kind of the quiet revolution here. AI becoming truly personalized.
Wow, that level of personalization really does sound game-changing. And I guess we're probably seeing this pop up all over the place already, right? Where is fine-tuning making a difference in the real world? Can you give us some solid examples?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere once you start looking. Think about customer service chatbots. You might start with a really powerful general LLM, a large language model, but then you fine-tune it. You feed it your company's FAQs, your product manuals, maybe examples of past support chats, your specific brand voice guidelines. Suddenly, the chatbot isn't just giving generic answers, it's giving your company's answers accurately, using your terminology in your style. It becomes your expert. Without that fine-tuning, it might give a technically correct answer about, say, returns, but it wouldn't know your specific 30-day policy or the weird nickname for that one product line.
Right. It goes from general knowledge to company-specific intelligence. Makes sense. What else?
Sentiment analysis is another big one. A basic model can tell you if a review is positive or negative, more or less, but fine-tuning lets it understand the nuances in specific fields. Like, you could fine-tune a model on medical forums to recognize terms patients use to describe pain or side effects language that's very specific to healthcare. Or fine-tune one on, I don't know, gaming forums to understand if players are frustrated with game balance versus, like, graphics. It gets the specific context.
Okay, so it learns the jargon and the specific emotional cues of that particular world.
Yeah.
That's pretty subtle.
Exactly. Subtlety is key. And then you have voice and image recognition. Voice assistants, for example, they can be fine-tuned on datasets with specific accents or regional dialects, makes them much better at understanding everyone, not just a standard accent. Same for images. An image recognition model could be fine-tuned on pictures of, say, specific types of circuit boards used in your factory. Super useful for quality control, right? Or identifying weeds specific to a certain agricultural region. It learns to see what you need it to see. When you step back, you see how fine-tuning lets us build these incredibly specialized, really efficient systems for all sorts of niche applications that maybe weren't feasible before.
That degree of specialization is, incredibly powerful.
Exactly.
I'm guessing it's not always straightforward, like teaching that cat the house rules. Sometimes they still scratch the sofa, right?
Yeah.
Are there important things to watch out for? Pitfalls when you're fine-tuning?
You hit the nail on the head. Yes, absolutely. There are definitely some key things to keep in mind. First and foremost, maybe the most critical, data quality over quantity. The specific data set you use for fine-tuning. Its quality is way more important than just having loads of data. If that data has errors or biases or it's inconsistent, well, the model will learn those flaws. It'll learn the bad rules. Just like rewarding the cat for scratching the sofa teaches it the wrong thing, the fine-tuned model will amplify any problems in your specific data. It's that classic garbage in, garbage out, but maybe even more critical here.
Okay, so meticulous data preparation is key. It's not just about volume. It's about accuracy and relevance.
Got it. Precisely. The second big one is avoiding overfitting. This is a really common trap. Overfitting is when the model learns your specific training data too well. It performs brilliantly on that data, knows your house rules perfectly, but then it completely falls apart when it sees slightly different new data it hasn't generalized. It's like that cat who only knows your house and freaks out anywhere else. It's too specialized, it loses its flexibility. There are techniques to fight this, like using separate data to validate performance or stopping the training early before it gets too specific.
Ah, so it's like it memorized the test answers instead of learning the actual subject.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Exactly that. Memorization versus understanding. Another practical point. You absolutely have to check the model licensing. Not all pre-trained models are created equal in terms of permissions. Some might not allow fine-tuning at all, or they might restrict commercial use of the fine-tuned version. You really need to read the fine print before you invest time and resources, especially if it's for business. And finally, while fine-tuning is way, way more efficient than training from scratch, it's still not free. It still requires compute resources, time for data prep, time for the actual tuning, and then time for testing. It's an investment, just usually a much smaller one than starting over.
Okay, so quality data, watch out for overfitting, check the license, and budget for the effort. That makes sense. So wrapping things up then, fine-tuning. It really seems to be about bridging that gap between general AI power and specific real-world needs, doesn't it? Making AI truly useful and personal.
Absolutely. That's the perfect way to put it. It transforms a generic, powerful model, that stray cat, maybe into your bespoke tool. Once it learns your house rules, it's not just a cat. It becomes your cat, integrated into your world, understanding its specifics. And, learning how to do this, how to fine-tune, that's becoming a really valuable skill professionally. It means you can adapt these powerful tools to solve new specific problems. If you're listening and thinking you might want to try this, definitely start with open source models. There are some great ones out there. It's a fantastic way to, get your hands dirty, understand the process, see how it works, without needing a massive budget or data center to begin with. Really the best way to learn.
It really makes you think, though, right?
Yeah.
As fine-tuning gets easier and more accessible, how much more tailored can AI become? What kind of specific house rules could you teach an AI to solve a problem in your field, or maybe even just in your own daily routine? Lots to ponder there.
And speaking of skills, Next time, we're actually going to dive into using GitHub, specifically how you can use it to package together a really professional-looking portfolio of your work. Super important for anyone in tech or wanting to get into tech.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into fine-tuning AI. Definitely subscribe to the deep dive so you catch our next episode on GitHub portfolios.